Ranking my top 25 90s hip hop albums, not meant to be a definitive list. This is a personal list. There's definitely omissions here that I think will bother some people, but let me just say I'm making this true to what I actually listen to, not what I think people will agree with. So, this is just the way that I feel about these albums. Let me know what you think. Here's part one. Number 25, Helta Skelta Nocturnal. Always underrated. Ruck and Rock, the duo right here. Rock with a really deep voice, crazy flows. Ruck, who's better known now as Sean Price, a legendary underground MC, put out a lot of great music in the 2000s. This is their best album. Really gritty, boom bap hip hop. Always underrated. All right, number 24, Ice Cube, Death Certificate. West Coast classic. Honestly, this is a bit of a continuation of what NWA sounded like, but Ice Cube was always the best lyricist and the most unique rapper out of that group. So it works pretty well when it's just him, but it is pretty familiar to NWA. All right, number 23, the Fugees with The Score, Wyclef, Press, and Lauryn Hill, all very complementary styles. They all do something a little bit different, but it's Lauryn Hill who steals the show with both her vocals and her emceeing. This stands out as one of the more unique albums from the 90s. It's definitely different than a lot of the gritty boom bap that kind of defined this era, and it's obviously different than a lot of the West Coast gangster stuff. It's not like the Southern stuff from this time period, so it does stand out as one of the more unique East Coast albums. Great record. All right, number 22, The Roots, Things Fall Apart. Black Thought, now recognized as one of the greatest rappers of all time, but it feels like it took way too long. It took up until that Funk Flex freestyle for everybody to sort of realize how great he's always been. The Roots, dark, gritty, jazzy, raw, and 100% real. And Black Thought is kind of the heartbeat of the whole thing. Amazing rapping throughout this entire project. Awesome Roots album. Maybe my favorite by them. They have some great stuff in the 2000s too, though. Number 21, Scarface, The Diary. Scarface has always reminded me a bit of like a Southern Tupac, where he has that really deep, distinctive delivery that sounds almost like he's preaching, similar to Tupac, whether he's rapping street tales or spiritual, introspective musings. He always has a really smooth flow. This album doesn't feel as regional as you would expect, considering Scarface was one of the most legendary Southern rappers. It has a boom bap feel. There's some West Coast beats on here. There's some more Southern soul beats on here. And Scarface sounds right at home on all of them. Definitely one of the best MCs of all time. Number 20, Eminem, the Slim Shady LP. A lot of Eminem's music has aged poorly, and this album does have quite a few songs that are difficult to even listen to because they're so nonsensical. The trademark sense of humor has always been on display on songs like Guilty Conscience and My Name Is and Brain Damage, but this album really shines where he's talking more directly about struggle, like If I Had, and Rock Bottom, which is definitely my favorite Eminem song of all time. One thing that's always been undeniable is his technical ability. Definitely one of the most skilled rappers of all time. Number 19, MF Doom, Operation Doomsday. He sounds less like the MF Doom that we know and love in the mid 2000s, where he really finds his own unique voice. A lot of the ingredients are still there. The flow is slightly off kilter. The incredibly witty and clever rhymes are there, but he does sound more like a rapper of the time than one of the most distinct and unique voices in hip hop on this particular album. It's still great. 18, Most Def, Black on Both Sides. I specifically remember the Mathematics instrumental in one of the Maddens that I played growing up. Miss Fat Booty, also one of the earlier hip hop songs that I really remember loving. This is justifiable in anybody's top five. You no argument for me if this is higher. I just don't go back to it as much, but Most Def definitely a pure incredible MC. This album is amazing and definitely holds up throughout any era. Same goes for number 17, A Tribe Called Quest, The Low End Theory, a jazzy essential of 90s hip hop. Both Q-Tip and Phife Dawg are equally distinctive, charismatic, and this album is lighthearted, it's fun, it definitely has a different vibe than a lot of the other albums mentioned here. At one point in time, this probably would have been in my top five, but I just do not go back to it as much as I used to. I haven't listened to this in a long time. I still love it. I understand people having it a lot higher than this, but at this point, I'm trying to reflect what I actually listen to more frequently. 16, Big L, Lifestyles of the Poor and Dangerous. I will say I don't think this is as great of an album as The Low End Theory or Black on Both Sides. That being said, I'm ranking it above them just for Big L's sheer talent and mastery of the craft. One of the best rappers of all time. feels like his influence is still felt today. Obviously, he had a big influence on people like Jay-Z and Cameron, a lot of rappers of this era, but it also feels like he influenced people like Vince Staples and Freddie Gibbs, who have this similar dexterity when they rap, but also have that wit and that sense of humor mixed with the street raps. Just a one of one, had to put him a little bit higher based off of skill. 15, Gang Starr, Moment of Truth. This is one that I wish I could put a little bit higher, but I can't justify putting it over stuff that I listen to way more than this. But this is the epitome of East Coast hip hop. Premier, a Mount Rushmore producer. Guru, just a pure MC. This is pure hip hop. And the whole discography was perfect. You could really pick any of their albums. Many people have a different Gang Starr favorite, and all of them are totally justifiable. This would be justifiable in anybody's top 5 as well. You could put this at number 1, and I wouldn't bat an eye. Legendary classic, a fixture of East Coast hip hop. 14, Tupac, All Eyes on Me. Undeniably one of the greatest rappers of all time. Everybody knows it. The star power, the charisma, the flow, all absolutely magnificent. The talent, but this album really showcases all the different distinctive parts of his personality, which you do get on every Tupac album. But this being such a long double album, there's so many different songs that showcase the different multifaceted parts of Tupac. You get the drama of a song like Ambitions as a Rider. You get the emotion of a song like Life Goes On. But the most underrated part of Tupac, in my opinion, are the really fun, upbeat songs like All About You and Thug Passion. And those are my favorite songs on this whole album by far. 13, Dr. Dre, The Chronic, back-to-back West Coast holy grails, one of the greatest produced albums of all time. Some of my favorite beats ever, like Lyrical Gangbang, Stranded on Death Row, featuring Bushwick Bill. Fun to see him show up on this album. The features on this is really the who's who of West Coast hip hop for a long time. Snoop Dogg, Daz, Corrupt, Warren G, Nate Dogg. I mean, it's so many important figures of West Coast hip hop all put together by one of the all-time mastermind. Number 12, Gravedigger, 6 Feet Deep, a perfect classic of horrorcore hip hop. It's really the best marriage of the over the top, cartoonish, horror themed rapping with the grimy, raw, really nasty production from the Prince Paul. I always thought that RZA produced the majority of this, but the Prince Paul was the mastermind behind a lot of this. Obviously, he had a big impact on RZA's production style because this does have a similar vibe to a lot of what you get on the classic Wu-Tang material. Number 11, UGK, Riding Dirty. As is often the case in hip-hop duos with a renowned MC, Outkast, Mobb Deep, and UGK, it feels like Pimp C is the one who's often overshadowed. I do think it's fair to say that Bun B is one of the best rappers ever. He probably is more lyrically skilled than Pimp C, but Pimp C, just as a rapper, provides the perfect complement to Bun B's more rugged flow. Pimp C brings so much swagger, so much energy, and he is one of the best producers of all time. I mean, he really helped define this genre with the minimal, soulful production. This is easily the best UGK album. They have a lot of great music, but this is just an all-timer and one of the best Southern hip-hop albums of the 90s. And that concludes part 1. Come on back for part 2, where I'll go over the top 10. Let me know what I got right. Let me know what I got wrong. What's in your top 25. And subscribe for more like this.